Welcome to Meet the Musicians, powered in part by Classic of Denton. The views and opinions expressed by the show hosts and their guests are those of the show host and guests, and not necessarily those of the sponsors, DentonRadio.com, or the Denton Convention and Visitors Bureau. For more information, visit the Policies and Procedures page at DentonRadio.com. Back, everybody, to Meet the Musicians. We are live in the studio with one of my favorites, a guy who needs no introduction here in Denton, the one, the only Richard Gilbert. How's it going, man?
It's going good. Going real good.
Good. Well, thank you very much for making the time to come hang out with us today. And
I enjoy it.
And be in the studio. And y'all stick around because after the interview, we're going to have a little performance from this guy, and it is going to be awesome. So, but Richard, this is for me personally a really exciting interview, just because you have had a strong relationship with Denton Radio from the very beginning, right, and a personal relationship with me. When we were first cooking up this idea, I had said to Bone Doggy, "What do you think about a radio program for just with local artists?" And we had started, pursuing it and seeing what that would look like. And I said, okay, well, we'll start a crowdfunding thing. We were using peer backers at the time. And then I went on vacation. I said, okay, well, we'll put it out there into the world, and if musicians respond, then we'll go, okay, maybe we've got something. And so I go on vacation, I come back, and I expected nobody to have donated anything. And I log in, and we had a donation. And who in the world is the donation from? And it said Richard Gilbert, and I was like, who's that? And so we said, okay, well, somebody out there feels like this is worth investing in. So we started it, and then at the time, Denton Radio is now a program of the Denton Convention and Visitors Bureau, but at the time it was just me and Bone Doggy and Pat, and we don't have any money. So we said, okay, we'll have artists do releases because we couldn't afford licensing at the time. We have them now, but artists had to do releases to get their music on Denton Radio, and we said, okay, we'll set up at Banter, and we'll do a release thing where artists can come and we'll get a bunch of releases in one day. And the very first artist through the door was you. And we were there for, I think, 12 hours. And the first 30 minutes goes by, nobody's there. And then you came with your release form, and then it was maybe another hour and a half before anybody else showed up. And I was going, oh no, what are we going to do? But so you have always been, eventually more artists came, but you have always been just a person who I've really enjoyed being around, and one of the reasons that Denton Radio even exists. So wanted to make sure I got to publicly say thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
For starters. But this isn't anything to do with me or Denton Radio. We need to be talking more about you and your journey and all that good stuff. So tell us a little bit about your how you define your musical style. And I know everybody hates what's your genre or anything, but
yeah.
but quick elevator pitch on somebody saying, Richard, what do you do?
Well, I'm very. It's kind of eclectic. It's. I guess it's Americana in a nutshell, folk Americana in a nutshell. But there's got a little bit of a pop sound to it, folk pop, I'd call it. One of the things and probably everybody out there that just heard me play, I normally don't strum in rhythm. I don't. Nobody can play drums with me because I was one of these lonely children who played by themselves, with the guitar and never really. Oh, am I supposed to be doing, to a certain beat or whatever? So I just kind of do my own thing. But yeah, if it was going to be called a genre, my oldest son calls it acoustic eclectic pop.
Acoustic eclectic pop.
Yeah, but so we'll go somewhere around that area, Americana folk.
Perfect. Well, you've got a really cool sound, and I think you are a phenomenal songwriter. You've got really, really fun lyrics, and I feel like you've got a unique way of looking at things, because in a lot of your songs, there'll be some object, whether it's a building or a bird or a historical event or something, and then you're able to sort of unpack it and relate it to something much bigger. At least that's what I take away from it. So I really enjoy your style. But how long have you been writing?
Probably, I mean, most of my life since I was about 14.
Okay.
But I really didn't get serious writing songs until probably around 2000, and then got more serious around 2005 and progressed from there. And it's just been that you listen to the other musicians, whether it's local or on the radio, and you don't want to copy, you don't want to do plagiarism, but you hear how they write, and it gives you ideas of how there's no box. You know, you can write outside the lines. You don't have to. You don't have to have you don't have to rhyme every line or whatever. Or one verse can have a rhyme in it, and the other one doesn't have to. Things like that.
Well, it's very, very cool. Now, you and I first started interacting back in the banter days at open mic and all that kind of stuff, and I feel like that's a similar story I hear from a lot of folks that spent time either at that open mic or get to spend a lot of time around other musicians, that you open up to a lot more types of writing styles and things like that, just being here in Denton, because there's music everywhere. And it kind of challenges you to find other things. What are some other songwriters here locally that you really enjoy?
Ellie Meyer, definitely.
Great one.
Of course, Matt Grigsby. Matt's a great friend, and I've always enjoyed his writing style. I'm over here get the fly away. I'm trying to think of some other names. But there's so many. I just Daniel Markham. I bought one of his CDs years ago, and I still listen to it. There's some songs there that I really, really enjoy. There's just so much variety that we have, from folk to rock to hip hop to everything that we have here in Denton. And it just, I don't know. I mean, I just enjoy it all. Yeah.
Well, and it goes back to the eclecticism that you were talking about before. Man, there's just so much of so many different styles and types and genres and all these different kinds of things. So it's really, really fun to see. So, so you said you've been playing and playing for quite a while and writing for quite a while as well. How long have you been performing publicly?
Since 2005.
2005?
Yeah, I kind of jumped into it back. I don't know if you remember the what was it called, Art 6?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I used to hang out there a lot.
Killer's Tacos.
Yeah,
now.
when I had a real job and I had to work, I would go there after work, and my son got a gig there, and he called it Ryan Gilbert and Friends, because Ryan was already in the music scene around 2001, 2000, and he'd been already building up his reputation here. And he asked me if I wanted to open, and I was scared to death. Well, actually, I'll go back a little bit here in a second. So anyway, I opened, and I got a nice little crowd response. So that was my first performance. My first time to play was at the Brick House before it was Banter. I did an open mic there, and I did 2 songs, and I was literally scared to death. I mean, I don't know why I brought this cup of coffee up on the stage with me, but I brought it up there and I set it on the stool beside me, and I played my first song, and messed up, and the crowd was really nice, and I was going to pick up my coffee, and my hand was literally like this.
Oh wow!
And I grabbed hold of the neck, and I played the next song and got through it, and just went and sat down and thought, wow, what am I doing? It's terrifying.
Sure.
It really is. Until you start getting confident, and that's what the open mics are all for. They're to get your confidence level up.
Yeah. It's very, very cool. So you've had, in the time I've known you, you've had maybe not different sounds, but different styles. You've had some of the voice effects boxes and some other things like that where you've experimented and played and tried a whole lot of different stuff. So it's stayed really fresh through the years because you're always trying new things, which is super exciting.
Yeah.
And I always really appreciate that about your live performance. Are there any places in particular around here that you've gotten to play that you've just really enjoyed?
Probably, I'm going to say of all places, Barley and Board. They gave me a residency there. Been about I think it was last June was the last time I played, actually, so it's probably close to a year ago. But they gave me I think I played there for over a year, once a month.
Wow.
And I really enjoyed playing there. It was just a lot of fun. Harvest House, and when Banner was open, Banner was great. I enjoyed playing there. But Harvest House, I played there a few times. Got to do some EP releases there.
Yeah.
And it's the stage, the outside, and we did a little song swap thing there for a while.
Yeah.
I was I got together and when they first opened at Harvest House, and we did that, and so yeah, that was a great place to play.
Very cool. Very cool. So on a stepping away from music, on a more personal note, you enjoy a good glass of wine, yes?
Yes, I do.
And we've got a lot of great wine places here. What are some of your choice wines? If anybody is a wine person and looking for something.
Oh, I mean, I as far as name brands, I can't tell you, but as far as Pinot Noir, if it's a red, and normally a Chardonnay.
Nice.
If it's a white.
Dig it.
Yeah.
Well, I just remember there was a couple of times, a group of musicians would be around at like banter or something like that, and everybody's drinking like PBR, and you would have wine, and I just always respected that about you. I was like, you know what, Richard's got some taste. He's got some taste.
Yeah, I got a little app that I use when I go buy a bottle of wine, and I can scan the bottle, and it tells me what the score is on that.
I like it.
So that's how I figure out, oh, okay. And then it looks like I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, I like it. Very, very, very cool. Well, we're about to break here in a second, and we're going to get a live performance from Richard. So don't go anywhere. If you're watching via video, the video is going to stop, but it's going to start right back up here in a second with his performance. If you're listening on the radio, we'll be right back where you are. And if you listen on the podcast, just hang right here. So, but before we do that, I want to get any plugs of any upcoming shows, and then, of course, let's plug any social media websites, all that kind of stuff that you'd like to send people to.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to be playing at J&J's on July the 29th. I was thinking my brain was still in June. July 29th, I'll be opening there at 9 o'clock. So if you can make it out to J&J's, I'll be playing there. And as far as social media, everything I have is on Spotify. You can follow me on Spotify. I would love that. You can also find me on Instagram, Richard Gilbert Music, or R Gilbert Music, R Gilbert
Perfect.
Music. That's my for Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, guys, his name is Richard Gilbert, a Denton legend. Really, really excited to be able to call you friend Richard, and
Thank you.
like I said, major part of what made all of this possible, which I personally want to thank you and get to do that publicly. So don't go anywhere, because Richard is going to be playing a set for you guys here in just a second, right here on DentonRadio.com. Well, thank you for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed the show. We want to thank our partners and sponsors who made this show possible. And now stick around for a word from all of us here at Discover Denton.